Welcome to Comfort Having number 2. This is my third attempt at making this video because I want to talk about the pretendians on TikTok. I deleted my other two videos because I brought up DNA test. And I don't want one of these pretendians to find my video and then use that shit to discredit my Native American heritage, which is why I deleted the second video, because I went right back into the shit on why I deleted the video in the first place, because me and my inability to lie or know when to shut the fuck up did that. In the video before that, in which I talked about our 10% brain capacity, and I talked about how these people will deny until they come home that they have some black in them, and that they are so ashamed of being black that they have to decide to erase Native culture. I also mentioned that because they used Siberia and the land bridge, that that's their standing point. Well, I also said I used to believe that too. They currently and recently just debunked the land bridge theory, so I did make a video saying I had to apologize about that because I used to believe the land bridge theory too. But now they've currently debunked it. They found some footprints or something that was older than the land bridge theory. They tested it, so now we're back to square one of Native American culture. Now, I'm not going to say that my ancestors didn't come from Siberia, but it's not on my DNA test, I can tell you that. And again, I'm not going to bring up my DNA test again because I don't want them to find this video and use that against you. Oh, Echo Fan Grave was fake. Well, my ancestors buried on native land, so I'm not so much of a fake, which is on the Chickahominy ground, and I am going to call them. I have been scared to call them as much as I have been scared to write them that note a couple weeks ago. Well, they haven't contacted me, so if they don't contact me by next weekend, which will be the first weekend in July, that following Monday, I'm going to call them. Because I would love to actually go down there and see the grave, because my dad and I was planning on doing that before he died. So I can at least do that. And then talk about tribal enrollment and all that bullshit. I don't really care if I get enrolled or not. I just want to acknowledge my native heritage. That's pretty much it. And for the record, let me go ahead and get this out. I had no idea reconnecting was a thing until I was told I needed to reconnect. And so between 42, 43, I think it was actually 43. Because I know it was way after the hip replacement and after my dad died. Well, hell, I might have been 44. I honestly don't know when I started my reconnecting journey, now that I think about it. Because I'd actually have to get medical records to find out when I started my reconnecting journey. Because I went to the hospital for what I thought was skin cancer. And that's where I met another native. This is why you should document everything when you do stuff. I met another native, and he was half black, half native. He was darker than me. He had all the native features in the face. His just skin tone was darker than mine. And so he's like, "Are you native?" And I'm like, "Not completely." He's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm definitely mixed." He was like, "You sure?" I was like, "Dude, I know what I am. Trust me, I am mixed native. I'm not full blood." He's like, "Well, you look like you can pass." I said, "Yeah, but I'm not." So he's like, "Okay, well, this is what you're gonna do. First, you're gonna call the BIA." That was a clusterfuck. Then he said, "You're gonna start your reconnecting journey, and you need to hook up with natives and all this other shit." I'm like, "Dude, I'm no longer sure what native I'm actually connected to, because we were told Cherokee. In my bio, I have Cherokee. So now I gotta find out if I'm actually Cherokee. But now I also gotta find out if I'm Chickahominy, because I did a whole bunch of research after that shit, because there's there's no Cherokee reservation in Virginia, like at all. There's Rappahannock, there's Tappahannock, there's the guys in Mannequin, there's the guys down where Buckingham is, but none of those motherfuckers are Cherokee. So I'm like, okay, so maybe we're not Cherokee. We know that we have native in us, but we don't know what tribe. And like I said, we were told Cherokee. But Cherokee, unfortunately, is the go-to race, or the go-to tribe, rather. So, I got to my dad's side, because my dad's more native than my mom. Alright? Because my dad's mother's mother was full-blooded native from Charles City. Alright, Charles City is a big Native community, and the only reservation I heard down there was Chickahominy. Now, I'm not saying that Cherokee couldn't be down there, but I was told it was Cherokee on both sides. However, Charles City is Chickahominy. So unless they took the Cherokee in, Charles City is Chickahominy. So it's highly possible that I am not Cherokee at all and that I could be Chickahominy. So that has me worried, especially since I wrote the song Cherokee Fire, which is on here somewhere. And I'm like, oh shit, what if I'm not Cherokee? What if I'm Chickahominy? So now you see the clusterfuck. Moving back to the guy that I was talking to, he's like, well, you need to reconnect with your native because you can get this for this and this and that. And I was like, you know what, man? That would have been nice to know when I started college, like way back in my 20s. And now in my 40s, and I did finish college before I was 50, thank God. But now in my 50s, I'm like, I'm back to ground zero. Because you can be told you're Cherokee and you can believe it all you want until you can prove it. You know? And my clusterfuck with the BIA was, we don't give a damn if you're 50% or 75%. If you're not enrolled, you're not native. And I'm like, well, how do I get enrolled? And it's like, well, you have to be adopted by a tribe. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, so how the hell do I do that? And then it's like, well, when you go get your DNA results and you go get your genealogy, and then even if the tribe doesn't accept you, then you can be native by blood all you fucking want, but that doesn't mean the BIA have to acknowledge you. So that was that clusterfuck. So then I started my reconnecting journey, and I started talking to people on TikTok, and I'm getting to the main subject in a second. And so I was like, okay. So a friend of mine sent me an ancestry test. So I took that. We're not going to go into that because I don't want the pretendians to find this video and then try to use it against me. So now I'm going to take another DNA test as soon as I find how much it costs to get 23andMe, because 23andMe does haplogroups. And I know from experience that I don't look black enough to be black. So we're going to figure it out, and we're going to figure out what my haplogroup is and all this other bullshit, and I will let you guys know. Because honestly, I don't know which one is actually the best. I'm also going to get a genealogy test. I just got to get money. And I don't have money, which is why my acting career needs to hurry up and take off. Anyway, getting that all aside, there are some pretendians that I was watching in a live. I wasn't participating, but I was watching. And one of them happens to think that he's a time traveler. Literally, he thinks he's a time traveler. He literally said that he's a time traveler. Now, I don't know if his time traveling is astral projection or literally walking through time and space. Now, I know about Native American dream walking. Alright? It's folklore. It's a folklore. I know it's a folklore, but I've never done it. I wrote Love 13 based on a Native American dream walking folklore that I was told when I was a kid. Okay? So that's what Love 13 starts off with, the folklore of dream walking. And in that story, the character that's one of the main protagonists or main bad guys is a dream walker. It's just like Native American power. So it's some fucked up ass shit. Don't worry. It's a fantasy. I don't think dream walking is real, but I don't think that it's not, being that I got attacked by the Witch Rider since I was 7 years old, which they call sleep paralysis. Fuck y'all and that sleep paralysis bullshit. You do realize that sleep paralysis is different from blood paralysis, and if you have blood paralysis, you're already dead. Because if your blood stops flowing through your body for even a nanosecond, you're probably gonna die. Anyway, moving on. That's why blood clots and shit happen. You know, blood clots happen, it stops the flow of blood, and you fucking go out. You donezo. Anyway, so the guy has a feather in his head. He's light skinned. He's definitely mixed, but he doesn't acknowledge his mixed heritage. And he sits there and he hollers and screams that he's a ninth ether being. I was like, okay, y'all can't be both. Because most Native Americans don't talk about being ninth ether beings. They do talk about the sky people. Almost every tribe has entered some folklore of sky people. But they never said that they are the sky people. So these guys are like really fucked up with this ninth ether being shit. And I'm like, so are you Earth first people? Or are you ninth ether beings like the sky people? And if you are ninth ether beings, why the fuck did y'all stay here instead of exploring the stars? You know, doing the thing that mankind really wants to know about. And then they're like, oh, we're with the fuck, what the hell is the name? Anishinaabe or the Anabe or whatever the hell. somebody who's native, complete full native, can correct me on the saying of that. But anyway, they're saying that they're them, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, but y'all don't participate in any native shit. Y'all don't participate in the Supreme Court taking away the Native Americans' rights to have water. You don't participate in missing and murdered indigenous people. You don't participate in land back, water back, the children that were taken for residential schools. You don't participate in nothing native, but y'all are native. But apparently, the indigenous people who were here before the natives didn't get put into residential schools, didn't get their hands turned blue by cutting off the circulation because we don't want you to write with your left hand's a thing. Didn't have your hair chopped off, you know, none of that shit. But y'all were here first. But apparently the Siberian natives wiped y'all the fuck out and became the Native Americans. And y'all don't have bows, arrows, tomahawks, or native shields in any of your shit. I wasn't raised on a res. My dad's dad was black. For the majority of my life, I did not know I was a Native American descendant until the 5th fucking grade. I just thought I was black and was blessed with good hair. But my mom was white passing. My mom's dad was mixed. My grandmother was mixed Native and black. My grandfather on my mom's side was black and white, but he looked more white than black. So he was white passing or white presenting. My dad was black passing. You couldn't tell he was native by looking at him. So you can't really go by looks. I'm mixed. I know that I'm mixed. Trust me, 1,000 times of being called the zebra from the fucking 1st grade to the 5th grade, you'll know that you are mixed. And no disrespect to Sherman Hemsley, aka George Jefferson. Thank you for making my fucking childhood hell for having me called a fucking zebra. I know it's acting. I know it's your job. I'm an actor. I respect that. Plus, I believe he's passed away, so God rest his soul. But that doesn't change the fact that black kids and white kids alike call me zebra and half-breed a fucking lot. So, that being said, as a mixed person, if you are a mixed native and you're with the Pretendians, I understand. I get it. But the thing is, they don't acknowledge all of who they are. They just want to be native. I don't blame them for just wanting to be native. I want to be full-blooded native. But I'm not. And I know it. I'm not ashamed of it. But they are. Now some of them might full-on be black. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking care. But stop erasing my heritage. Stop making it harder for me to reconnect with natives because y'all don't want to be mixed. Y'all are ashamed of who the hell you are. So you want to just, oh, well, we're not fucking, we don't have any African in us. We're just mixed. We're everything but actual natives. We're night ether beings. We can travel through time and shit like that. And that's fine and dandy. And no, this isn't sponsored by Doritos, but Doritos, if you want to give me a job, Doritos minis in a can. Yes, I would love to work for Doritos. I'm hungry. I don't want to eat my dinner yet. Anyway, this guy got on here and went 10 toes deep. I'm a time traveler. I've traveled through time and space. But after they said that, a lady, another damn Pretendian, or a mixed person, most of them never open up their cameras either. I'm stupid, but I try to open mine. And they're like, yeah, all of our records and shit was destroyed. And what they did to us was paper genocide. Well, newsflash for you. They did the same goddamn thing to actual Native Americans. So, I'm not saying y'all wrong. I'm just not saying you're right. This debate has been all over TikTok. Like, forever. Forever, ever. For at least 6 months. Maybe 4. But they're still denying the fact that they have black in them. I'm not going to deny the fact that I have black in me. And guess what? If anybody's watching these fucking YouTubes, they've already heard me say it. But I'm not a 9th ether being. I can't time travel. I can't fly. But I know how to use one of these. I need to buy more, actually. I'm seriously out of practice. So basically what I'm saying is this. If you pretendians are mixed with native, that's fine. But what you're doing is completely unacceptable. You're sitting here and telling everybody that natives are from Siberia when they just debunked the goddamn land bridge. You're jumping on Mexicans and saying that they're not Native Americans, but you forget to fail the fact that before borders and before colonization, Mexico was the bulk of the bottom half of the United States of America. Like most of California, all the way to Texas, all the way to almost like Louisiana, possibly part of Florida. All that shit was Mexico before colonization. I don't want to take that into consideration. Then they talked about teepees, longhouses, and other shit. And they forgot the Hopi and the Pueblo built their homes into the mountain. But they want to talk about how the Pretendians made the mounds and the pyramids. And it is a Stargate at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. They can teleport you from the Grand Canyon to Egypt. And they saying that Egypt is the second Egypt. Well, Egypt is really in America, and that the Nile River is the Mississippi. But apparently they didn't pay attention to the fact that the Nile River runs from south to north. The Mississippi runs from north to south. But they're 9 ether beings, and they can time travel. I'm your host, Echo Fang Grey Wolf. I am sorry that I made you guys sit through 10 minutes of this, or 18 minutes of this after I deleted the first 2 videos, but I thought you guys might want to know the shit that I'm stuck on TikTok. Now again, I'm mixed native, and I'm trying to reconnect, and these motherfuckers aren't making it easy. And if they're mixed native, they should be doing the same thing I'm doing. Reconnecting, trying to figure out where they came from, trying to get it right. They don't give a fuck. And they are still cuttering people who look like my great-grandmother. Siberians. So, I mean, it is what it is. Also, shout out to Chief Josiah. They did talk about him today. So, Chief Josiah, if you happen to see this, they did talk about you. They posted pictures of your grandmother again. And, they didn't talk about how he posted his DNA. And he's, like, way more native than everybody. No. He has no Siberian DNA. He has fucking 40-something% white and 50-something% native. So he's definitely native, but, you know, not to them. Yeah, but he already told everybody he's part white. He's already told everybody he's part white, but he's grown up on the res. He's part of the Seneca Nation. So again, shout out to Josiah. I'm probably not saying his name right, but shout out, brother. And to the Pretendians, and especially the lady that came on today saying that she is the descendant of Pocahontas' child that was not killed. I'm not knocking her. I'm not saying that she's lying. But she's on the wrong side if she's actually a descendant of Pocahontas. Pocahontas did not look like me. You know, she was full-blooded native, and she looked more like the Siberian natives that y'all keep saying that we are. Alright? So, if she's actually the descendant of Pocahontas' unkilled child, her full-blooded child, who was the child of her husband who was killed before she had to go marry John Rolfe and have mixed children over in England and change her name to Rebecca, Pocahontas looked more like me than she did the Pretendian dude with the fucking feather in his hair, who's a time traveler, who could always go back in time and fix this fucking shit. You can go back and Scooby-Doo this shit like Doctor Strange said. Anyway, that being said, and if you find this Mr. Feather in your head, ninth ether being who can do time travel, why don't you fix it? If you literally have the ability to go back in time, and I'm not talking astral projection, I'm talking that you can walk through time and space like you said you could today, go fix it. Go fix it now. That being said, I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Coming Forever number 2. Be seeing you. And it didn't stop.